there are going to be people that are there are current customers, and a lot of them, like I had specifically some emails that, and I think some people are in already. They might be already listening to us, which is fine.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me? And if you guys can put in the chat, can you hear me and Stefan talking right now? Just put yes. But there are some individuals that have certainly reached out to me and said, yeah, I want to be able to, can you record this, Steve? I want to see what Stefan is doing at O'Leary's so that, I can show it to my sales team and hopefully we can get the best bang for the buck with PMI. So those kinds of stories are going to be awesome for us.
Yeah. I actually just told my coworker, Scott, another sales rep over here, that I was doing this today. And he was like, dude, I fucking love Project Map It. And that's what it's about. It's like, all of us enjoy using this feature, and there are slides that we don't enjoy, stuff that will get but I feel like, out of the 20 plus slides we have, Project Map It is the one that I do spend the most time on.
Cool. All right. So are there any other questions in there? Like at the end, I might ask you some rapid fire questions more about you, just like silly questions. Like,
hey, whatever, man, I'm ready.
Okay. All right. Let's give everybody a couple more minutes. Hey, Kyle, how you doing? If you can hear us, do you mind just typing in the chat box whether or not you can hear us? And then, so I'm using Big Marker, which I've heard from everybody they love, and I'm going to start getting into these webinar series a little bit more. But so this is really only the second time I've been using it, so I'm not sure 100%. I'm glad we were able to. I did have to figure something. I had to do some configuration on the bottom left of the screen to get you in. So
I'm glad you did that as well, because it sometimes happens when I schedule a Skype call with somebody, and I do often see those or get the Skype calls, and sometimes you have to configure stuff in the beginning, and it takes forever, and it's annoying because you're on somebody else's time. So
yeah,
I'm glad you said that, to talk 15 minutes prior.
We had like 15 sign up.
Cool.
It looks like there's 6 in already. So we'll start. Hi everybody. We'll start around 1:01. We'll get everybody an extra minute or two to kind of get their bearings straight. And this will be recorded. And Stefan, you're cool if I just kind of use this to put out on some social media. We splice it up a little bit with some answers that you give and stuff like that. Is that cool?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I volunteered, man. When there's a good
bro.
product out there, you want people to know about it.
I love it. I'm going to go to Facebook real quick and pull up a picture of you.
Okay.
I love the picture of you on Top Rep Rush, man, with the belt is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, I kind of blacked out in that moment. I wasn't expecting, I told my wife a couple weeks prior that I was going to win this event. And then I kind of blacked out a little bit when it actually happened. It was important to me, and it was, important to, the company as well. So I was super happy I was able to do that.
Yeah. And those guys, they get pretty competitive, I assume. Is that right? I mean, because I didn't really go to any of the tables during the time. I should have, but I mean, they seem pretty competitive, correct?
I would say it would be
the other reps
half.
Yeah, like 50% are like you, like they really want to win, and the other 50 are like, whatever.
Yeah, definitely. I know there were some people that were out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
And then there were some people who were like, hey, I'm a man. This is what I do for a living. I've been doing it for a while, or maybe they're just getting into it and they're super amped up. But I would say about half and half.
Cool. Okay, well, let's get started here soon. I see we've got 7 in attendance right now. Kyle, John, Paige, Ryan, Maddie, Joel, Brian. This is my guy, Stefan, man. He is freaking such a cool dude. We just recently met face to face. Well, like a month ago was Top Rep Rush, right?
Yeah, about a month.
Yeah. So just so everybody knows, this isn't going to be super long, but we definitely wanted to have a webinar on someone that's using Project Map It to the extent that Stefan is. It's pretty cool. O'Leary Roofing has really taken the bull by the horns here. Yeah, they've been awesome using Project Map It really the way it's intended to, which is a great sales tool. If you have questions, there's a Q&A button I think on the right hand side of your screen. Feel free. I'll have this open and you all can type your questions there, and I'll certainly bring them up with Stefan, or I can answer them. We'll do a tag team answer. But I just wanted to say thanks for those that came today's webinar. Stefan and I, like I said, met face to face. He works at O'Leary Roofing, which is out of Pennsylvania. I was privy and very excited to go to a recent event called Top Rep Rush. It's sponsored and hosted by a company called Contractor Coaches Pro, company that goes out and helps sales teams, become better sales teams. And in that 2-day event, there was a competition that Stefan, you can certainly speak of better than I can, but I'd say there were probably like 70 sales reps there, and then their owners. The owners always go off to another room and do some stuff, and then the sales reps they literally compete with different question and answers that they have to do, and they get points. Stefan was crowned the Top Rep Rush winner, got a belt like on the WWE or MMA. It was pretty awesome. I'll share a picture in a second, but Stefan, go ahead and introduce yourself. Maybe, feel free to talk about your personal life as well. Your story is similar to mine, which I really like. You weren't always a sales rep in the roofing industry. So I'll give the floor to you real quick before we start our questions.
Yeah. Thank you, Stephen. No, so it's super cool to be here. I know that, when I was at Top Rep Rush, I actually approached you because I wanted to thank you for giving, us your product. Obviously, I thank the O'Learys for adding it to our presentation, but so it was super cool to meet you, and I'm glad we're doing this. But so I've been in roofing sales for about the past 2 years plus, a little bit more. I used to work in the same restaurant for 8 years, server, bartender, then turned manager out of college. And my wife got pregnant, and I was thinking that whole year, I got to do something else. And it was a week before my son was born, and I changed, I said, I'm never working another holiday again, because that was 4th of July weekend. And at that point, I went on Indeed.com, and it said roofing salesman, 6 figures plus. And I said, you know what, let's see what this is about. I could sell a good product if I believe in it. And I met the O'Learys, and here I am 2 years later, Top Rep Rush winner. And it's been cool. It's been cool.
Yeah. So Top Rep Rush winner. That's tough to say.
Yeah. You try to say that 5 times fast.
Again, like 70 people competing. And we were talking prior to this, and, Stefan said about 50% of the sales reps in that event are really wanting to win. The other 50 are kind of like, some are a little standoffish and stuff like that. But my story is similar, right? I was a special ed teacher, Stefan, for 20 years. I think you and I talked about it that weekend. Yep. And then I came to Project Map It, sort of reinvented myself the same way you're doing. And you are at O'Leary's. Are you one of the top sales people at the company as well?
Well, we have some pretty great salesmen here.
Yes,
some of us like to take a little bit more time off than others. And, but last year I did sell the most in roofs. I hit 2 million in sales, 2.2 million, something like that, in my first full year of roofing sales. And that's, credit to the company, O'Leary, John and Sherry. They do a really good job putting things awesome together and making this really easy for me to do. But no, we have some great salesmen here. And
so they got lucky. They got lucky with you. I talk to contractors all the time, and you probably know this better than I, but one of the things I always hear from roofing companies, or just, we work with all residential contractors. But the big thing is that it's always hard to find a great salesperson, someone that's going to stay a while, someone that really understands the concepts that the owners are trying to teach their reps and going out there and selling for them. So it's pretty cool that you're here, and glad that you reinvented yourself, and here you are, taking care of your family, which I think is really cool. I get goosebumps thinking about that.
Yeah. My wife gets to stay home and raise my son, which is
awesome.
The most important thing for me, instead of putting him in a daycare or something like that. So financially it's great. Which is, always a plus.
Well, let's get started. We've got like 5, 6, 7 questions, everybody. Again, feel free in the Q&A to ask the questions that you'd like, and I can bring them up with Stefan. First question: how long have you been using Project Map It, the company?
Yeah, so it's been about 6 months now. I would say the end of spring. We were ready to get going, right? It's time to sell some roofs. best time to do it. Let's bring another let's bring another weapon for our sales tool belt. And
Right.
you know, as soon as they mentioned it, it was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. And it was, and I was excited to use it. So were the other salesmen. Um, so yeah, we started using it about 6 months ago. And there was a second part to the question. What was that?
Well, the next part, it's going to transition well into that, is just you got Project Map It. Your map looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
What problems do you feel like Project Map It helps solve for you and your sales team?
Yeah, so I don't know if it necessarily solves problems for us, but you know, one thing I didn't think about while I was in the house with homeowners is bringing a big binder filled with pictures of
Yeah.
all of the roofs, and you know, looking at certain communities, and you know, having that review listed right underneath their before and after photos. You know, I never thought about doing that.
Right.
I could tell these people after the presentation, yeah, we did your neighbor's house right up the road, you know, three houses down. And they could say, okay, cool. You know, they don't know where I'm talking about. I don't have the address off the top of my head.
Right.
So to type in their address and have those bright orange pins be 2 houses away from them, or 3 houses away from them, or right down the street, it's it's a tool that I love to use every day.
And not just Project Map It, something that we've learned, right? There are three things that our system really works well in, right? Proposals is one, sales presentations is another, adding it to your website is another, right? Those are kind of where we live in those three areas. Feel free to talk about it. I have no problem talking more than just Project Map It, but you guys also use Engage presentation platform. And so talk about like technology and those presentations that you're using within Engage. Project Map It can be embedded right into an Engage presentation, which is really nice. But how has it helped your sales, and what do you think is important with the technology that you're using for your sales decks, for your presentations, to help actually close those deals? Do you feel like technology is important to help
Yeah,
close?
absolutely. That's kind of how we separate ourselves. A
Yeah,
lot of these contractors are stuck, you know, 20 years ago,
right,
and they're not using, you know, the kind of stuff that we have available today. So, you know, first and foremost, I start my presentation using Company Cam, and Company Cam is able to show all the pictures, and it's, you know, shared within our company. And I get to go through all those pictures of the roof that I just took with the home, you know, of the homeowner's house. And that's when I, you know, go through and show them exactly what's going on with their
right.
roof. And then from there, I'll just go straight into my engaging presentation with Engage, and you know, I'll show them 20 slides, and we're going to talk about our company. We're going to talk about the products. We're going to you know, show them the reviews. We're going to you know, talk about the shingle a little bit, just a bunch of different things. And then last but not least, the second to last slide that we have is Project Map It. And I'm able to ask these people, you know, you love the products, you love our company. Here are all your neighbors that have used us and the reviews that they've written. You know, what else do you need from me? If I can make this affordable for you guys,
Right.
you know, most of the time they're signing that contract.
So I sometimes have a hard time working with customers as far as finding an actual return on investment with Project Map It. For everybody, I told Stefan he didn't even know how much Project Map It costs. The most for all of you that are part of our partners, Company Cam. We're partnered with Company Cam, Roofer, Sumo Quote, Engage, a lot, Blue Pages Pro, a lot of different companies we've partnered with over the last year and a half. Get a 15% off discount, which at the most is $19.29 a year. When I said that to Stefan, your answer was just like, uh, so speak about return on investment. Do you feel like you utilizing Project Map It, the return on investment is there for you? Maybe share one of those stories that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of people are hearing about us from maybe a yard sign or a neighbor, but a lot of the times it's just a Google, you know, roofers near me, and then you know, we're going to come up. They're going to see all our great reviews. They have no idea what roofs we've done in their area. Um, but I do have one story. There was a house, big house. I mean, I was so excited. You know, to present to them, and you know, hopefully get the deal. And the last slide, the second to last slide, Project Map It, I brought it up, and I never know what to expect. You know, I type in their address, and I'm just hopeful that there's going to be one or two houses within a half-mile radius, you know, of the house. And I typed in the address, and three of their neighbors got their roofs done by us, and I had no idea. So they said, "Oh, that's, you know,
Yeah.
Tom and Rebecca's house, you know, down the street." And we know them. And instantly, you know, they made a phone call and, you know, asked how it was working with us. And then obviously Tom and Rebecca had a great experience. And then bam, contract put on schedule.
So you do feel like we were talking about your Engage presentation. You got 20 slides. You spend a lot of time on that Project Map It slide.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you ever have customers like, damn, look at that, man. Look at all that's pretty cool. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, I would say about 20% of the customers, after we've gone through, you know, because I'll click on one or two of them and I'll say, okay, you know, this is right down the road from you. I'd say about 20% of them want to see all of the orange dots within the area.
I also liked you were saying before when we were on before this, you were talking about they're all types of homeowners, right? And you gotta, as a good salesperson, you're figuring them out right away, so you know what angles to go. And you were talking about the engineer homeowner.
Yeah. So, the engineer, he's writing down everything. He's writing down what products we're using. He's asking a lot of questions. He's already got all his questions written down, and, you know, I have to be sharp and I have to be able to answer all those questions. And then when you bring up the Project Map It slide, it's okay. Let me get that address. Let me get that address. Let me get that address. And he's going to visit them, you know? So even if I'm not able to close the deal, then, you know, he's able to drive to those houses and maybe take a look and see how the workmanship looks, and maybe the homeowners outside getting the mail or something, and he can talk to them. So that's, you know, kind of where I went. But there is one other person that I want to mention.
Yeah.
It's the people that you just cannot warm up with. It's the whole presentation. It's like you're just doing all the talking. Whenever I get to the Project Map It slide, it goes from this to, oh, let me see what you got going on, you know?
Yeah.
And again, it's at the end of my presentation. So it's the conversation that's when you really want to start it up again.
So I feel like the cool thing, because I talk to all of our customers a lot. The cool thing about Project Map It, some people only use it for sales. Some people like to just put it on their website and let it live there. I understand why that is. I'm a true believer. I always say the top three are like, number one, we're a great sales tool. Like that should be where the bread and butter is for if you're going to use Project Map It. Number two, yes, put it on your website. Number two really is probably the proposal, right? We can, just so everybody knows that's listening, Project Map It can create a PDF proposal with Project Map It on it. So really, we have 3 different templates. That's really nice that when you send out that estimate or that proposal via email, if you do that, we'll create the PDF for you. It'll just send it out to them. And what we'll do is we'll put a call to action on that PDF. So the homeowner gets the proposal, and then all of a sudden they click a button that says, oh, Project Map It, what's this? It'll take them to your website. But what advice? So there might be people on here or people that watch this that aren't really using Project Map It as a sales tool. What advice would you give another company that's either A, considering Project Map It, or B, maybe they're using Project Map It, but they're not really utilizing it to the best of the ability as far as being a sales tool. So they're not using it that in-home appointment. Or maybe they are using it at an in-home appointment, but maybe not to the extent that you might be. So what advice would you give as far as, do you really feel it's a great sales tool? And if so, like, let the other contractors on here understand why you feel like it is.
Okay. So you ended up telling me the price of, you know, what you charge.
Right.
That's one sale, and it pays for itself.
It does.
That's one. You know,
Yep.
I can tell you truthfully that I've probably gotten a dozen sales in 6 months. And that's like kind of the bare minimum just because of Project Map It. I think personally, it's increased my sales by like anywhere from 3 to 5% because people want to use a contractor that they can trust. And if all of their neighbors are using us and are happy, it's like, what else do you need? You know, if it's affordable for you, we've got a great reputation, your neighbors are using us, you know, why not try it out? As far as it maybe not working out for you, maybe you are using it and you're not seeing the return on investment. personally, I think maybe you're not using it correctly. But I think you should spend a little bit more time with it, or maybe you don't have enough projects in your area that you're not able to show them. But I learned a couple weeks ago that there's a tool there where you could show them colors of, you could type in a specific color of shingle that you use, and maybe
Right.
somebody's having trouble picking a shingle color. You could show them, what it looks like on maybe somebody else's house.
Some of our least tech savvy people that use Project Map It, I can think of one. I won't name him, but he puts it on his website and he says all the time, like, yeah, he doesn't use it as a sales tool except for just verbally saying, like, hey, if you go to our website, you can check out the shingle colors. Just go to this page. You can search that way. And he's even said that he's sold a lot just by sending them to their website.
Yeah.
So, all right. I'll give you a free rein to say anything else that we may have missed on this interview. And if not, I've got if you're ready to move on, I've got some rapid fire questions for you.
I guess I have a question for you is, do you have I'm sure you have consultations with contractors, but do you have like a try it out free, or and see what happens kind of thing?
Yeah,
Because
I will be willing to give anybody 30 days free to try it out. And if they use it the right way, I guarantee them that they're in 30 days, they'll sell a job.
take it.
If we make the map for them, we'll sell it.
Take it. Absolutely. Perla's great. The customer service with them is awesome. At the end of the day, try it out 30 days risk free.
Yeah.
And you'll get your return on investment. It'll pay for itself.
All right. So now, first of all, thank you very much, Stefan, for all of that. I have 3 rapid fire questions in under a minute about you, so people learn more about you, and so I learn more about you.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna share my screen and just show a couple things to everybody else, and then we'll be done. But
okay.
Are you ready for rapid fire?
I'm ready.
Question 1. What's the last movie you saw in the movie theaters?
Endgame.
Endgame was good. Top Gun Maverick for me.
Oh, okay.
Question 2. Do you play on a softball team? And if so, how's that going?
No, I don't play on a softball team, but we had
what team is it?
It's the Kohler kids. We were playing in a charity event for suicide prevention. Obviously, it's an epidemic that's kind of sweeping the country right now. So I got my brother-in-law, my cousin, a couple of friends from college together, and we played in a softball tournament this past weekend. And there were a bunch of teams there that play every week together, and we ended up winning. So pure athletic talent, came over a structured team.
One thing I've learned about you is you are a competitive SOB. So I get that. And I love that because so am I.
I like to win.
All right. Last question. Do you have an awkward moment that you would like to share on any of your sales calls? Has there ever been a time where you're like, man, I left that one and that was weird?
Oh, man.
If no, that's okay.
Yeah, I'm not perfect. Sometimes, I'll tell you this. When I first started, I was really nervous to do follow-up, and I had no idea what to say. So, I would call somebody and say, hey, Stefan O'Leary Rupin, have you made a decision? Do you want to move forward with us? But, eventually you get more and more comfortable and you kind of figure out a script for yourself. So my first 6 months, super awkward.
I was a middle school teacher for 3 years before I got to high school for 17 years. And I one time had a split in my pants right in the area that you didn't want to have a split. Mm-hmm. And the students they all saw it and they never told me until I looked down at one point and saw this big split in my pants. They're like, I said, hey, how many of you saw this split in my pants? They all raised their hand. I'm like, you gotta, guy. I said, boys, you need to let me know, man. Us guys, we can take care of each other. Girls, I don't expect you to say anything.
You said middle schoolers?
I was middle school, 8th grade at that time, man. It was pretty embarrassing. I'm going to share my screen real quick. I want to just show everybody something. Number 1, can you see my screen now? Can you see it, Stefan?
Yeah, I see it.
So there's Stefan. This is Top Rep Rush, him winning the belt. That's a great picture, man. It was a great event. Contractor Coaches Pro is great. I mean, if anybody's looking to we're not partnered with them yet, but we go to their events and we love them. They love us. So if anybody's looking for good coaching for your sales team, these guys, I mean, as a salesperson myself, everything they said was really awesome. Would you agree, Stefan? Do you learn a lot from these guys?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been learning from Chuck for the past 2 years.
Chuck is right here. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been learning from Chuck for a while. He's the one who kind of trained me in this industry.
Yeah.
So to, but it's been a while since I had seen him in person and we went over everything, because you need to practice this every single day, and
Yeah.
and you need to go through the motions and actually do it. And that's what Chuck's about, because this stuff works. If you
Yeah.
do what he says and you follow the program, you're going to close more deals.
Yeah.
So
And I'm not sitting here trying to plug people, but to me, right, I'm all about networking, and I've met some pretty amazing people in the industry. And this was the first event I went to with these guys, and I was super impressed. So I really liked it. And it even made it even better that you won the whole thing, being from
yeah,
O'Leary and being one of our customers. So I liked that.
absolutely.
Just so everybody knows, I'm going to send this slide out. It's really not much, but how to use Project Mapper as sales tools. Certainly, if you're one of our existing customers, reach out to me or Perla. We'll go over some of these strategies that Stefan has been talking about, but just some ideas, right? One is emailing a link to Project Map It prior to a sales appointment. Something I learned in Top Rep Rush, emailing a video of your rep that's going to go out to that house really could take it to the next level as well. So, but
Hmm.
email, hey, take a look at what Project Map It is. Take a look at our jobs that we've done. Look at reviews of people from that we've installed roofs or whatever it is you did. In-home sales presentation. Click on any of these buttons. It'll show you. We are partnered with Engage. They're really good. Great sales presentation. We love them. We use Engage on all of our sales presentations.
Yeah,
And then
Engage
the
is awesome.
proposals. Yeah, and proposals too. We actually just recently partnered with Roofer and Sumo Quote. So we can build out, like I said, even if you don't use any of those, but you have PDFs that you use, we'll certainly, feel free to let us know. Stop screen sharing. Okay. Certainly let me know and I'll introduce you to anybody. But if you just send out PDFs on your proposal, you want me to create a PDF for your company, let me know. We have 3 templates. I'll build one. Since you're on here trying to learn more about Project Map It, we'll build all 3 templates for you. And you can pick which one or use all 3, but just let me know either way. Any questions? Let me look at the Q&A.
Yeah, I'm there too. Nothing listed
Nothing
so
yet?
far, but you want to give people 30 seconds to kind of
Give everybody 30 seconds if you have questions specifically for Stefan or myself.
Could be anything.
Doesn't even have to be Project Map It related. Could just be sales.
Yeah, it could be what my batting average was for my softball tournament. It's fun to compete. I used to be an athlete in high school, and obviously that's stopped since then. But that was probably the first time I actually competed in an event in a decade. So it was, as far as athletics go. So it was really cool.
I'm almost 50 years old. I'm still playing lacrosse on Wednesdays with the 45 and over league.
Nice, dude. I need to get into something. Absolutely.
Well, Stefan, it doesn't look like there are any questions, but if you all want to email me with questions, or if you want to somehow get in touch with Stefan, did someone type something?
Brian Reefstack
Yeah.
put it in the chat. He said, what do you see is the main difference when using PMI for retail projects versus storm? So personally, we are strictly retail at O'Leary Roofing. When I say strictly, I mean like 98% of the business probably. So I wouldn't know how to answer that question, but I'm sure it's the same. At the end of the day, here are all your neighbors that have trusted us to do the work. Here are the before and after photos, maybe show them pictures, of the storm damage and how we were able to replace that. And then again, that review on the bottom, it goes pretty far.
We do have some storm restoration companies that utilize us, and they really like it for the being able to showcase the color of shingles and stuff like that. The social proof is still important, not as important, because obviously you're getting those leads from insurance companies and things like that. But still being able to showcase the social proof of what you do does help a lot, Brian. And Kyle's okay. Any other questions, whether it's in the chat or anything else?
If there isn't any, once you post this, I'll chime in if I see anybody that asked any questions, and I'll comment on Facebook or wherever you decide to post it.
Perfect. Yeah. So if you guys want to reach out to Stefan, it sounds like he's willing to talk with you as well. If you have any follow-up questions along with me, I plan on doing these a little bit more, everybody. So, it might be a different topic, next time, but utilizing some of our customers that are currently using Project Mapit. So if you want to be a part of that, maybe a future webinar, that would be awesome. I will record this and send it out to everybody that was on this webinar. So feel free to, again, follow up with any questions, but really appreciate Stefan, you taking the time, man. It was so cool to meet you in person. I feel like we'll be good friends for a long time. So
absolutely, man. I hope to
yeah.
see you in Texas at the next Top Rush if I end up going.
I'm going. I'll be there. The Mission Control.
Yeah, Top Rep. You know.
Yep. We're already in.
I'll hang out with you. I won't be able to compete anymore, but if I'm there, we'll chit chat, maybe grab a beer or something.
Sweet. Appreciate it.
All right, man.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Stefan. You're a champ. I appreciate you, sir.
Of course.
Have a good one.
Talk to you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Cheers.